years and years. But what really made the connection, I got to give a huge shout out to Miss Ruth Bradford for really making this thing happen. So, Jerry, they've been waiting for you. The lines is jam-packed. Are you there, Jerry?
Yes, sir. I am here.
All right. Let's go. So,
all right.
we just got a few questions that we want to, that everybody is dying to hear from you. And the first question that we really want to know from you, Jerry, would be, why do you feel that most people don't win?
Wow, that's interesting. You know, it just brings up to my mind once you said that question, something very, very similar. I mean, I think it was the exact question, actually, that I asked Les Brown when he was over at my house, and I interviewed him, because every time Les Brown comes to my house, I make sure he has to get interviewed first before I get him some food or something. And so we were talking, and I asked him the exact same question. I said, you know what? You know, why do some people win? Why do some people don't win? And so forth. And he said that a lot of people don't win simply because what they do is they get in life, they get caught up in a particular regular routine, a regular process, and what ends up happening is they end up parking in life. They end up parking. And you're not able to move forward if you're just sitting there parked. And he said, not only are they parked, sometimes people will get upset if someone comes by and say, hey, I noticed you're on the side of the road, kind of just parked there. Do you require some assistance? And they'll go, no, get out of here. I don't want no assistance. Why are you bothering me? and so what ends up happening is a lot of people just end up getting comfortable. A lot of people end up just, parking. And part of it really comes from the programming that people get. You know, people get the programming that it's okay to be average and ordinary. As a matter of fact, they're supposed to be average and ordinary. So people get the programming that if you do these things, A, B, C, and that could be go to school, get a good education, go out there, get a good job, work hard, be loyal and industrious, move up the corporate ladder and all that, then you will be fine. Everything is going to work out just fine. And what happens, a lot of people, they get caught up in that process. And I'm not suggesting there's anything wrong with going to school or getting an education. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. But what happens, people get caught up in that process and really believing that if they did that, then they're going to produce the type of results that people say that they're going to produce. So what happens is, loyal people who want to go out there and make something happen, they go on and follow that recipe. And as you all know, following that recipe is not necessarily the recipe that's going to get you to where you want. It's a recipe that's going to really get you to do things that other people want you to do. And because what you're going to be doing is trading time for dollars, you're going to be working hard, you're going to be doing all the things that people say you're supposed to do. And you do all that just to get by. I mean, I see something, it'll be something else if you were able to do that process and earn, let's say, at least $40,000 a month. But what most people do is they earn about $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, or $70,000 or $80,000 a whole year by following that process. So they got to work full time, 40+ hours a week, real hard in most cases, do things they really don't want to do in order to earn enough money to barely get by. And what I'm suggesting is that maybe if you were earning that amount in a month, 46, 70, 80 a month or something, then, maybe it'll be a little bit better for people to be able to follow that process and so forth. But it just amazes me what people are willing to do to be average and ordinary. And the main reason is because they've been programmed to be average and ordinary. And what I want everyone to understand is that it's just as easy to earn that $40,000 a month than it is to earn that $40,000 a year. As a matter of fact, it is easier from my personal experience. And when I first heard that, back when I was a teenager, getting started in the industry of networking, I was 19 years old, and someone told me I was making $1,500 a month working at a 7-Eleven store, working real hard. I'd been there for 6 years at that time, started off as a stock boy, and I was earning $1,500 a month as the manager by that time of a 7-Eleven store. And someone told me when I got started in networking that it's easier to earn, he said $20,000 a month than it is to earn $20,000 a year, because I was earning about $20,000 a year. And I looked at him and I just felt like hitting him, because I'm thinking, man, you're crazy. What are you talking about? I'm working real hard. I can't work 10 times more to earn $20,000. He said, no, you don't understand what I'm saying. He said it is easier to earn $20,000 a month than it is to earn $20,000 a year. He said, Jerry, what's going to have to happen for you to do that is you're going to have to learn how to use your mind a little different than what you've been using it. And the reason you've been using the way you've been using it is because you've been programmed to use it the way you've been using it. And all you have to do is learn a new way of using it, and it's the most powerful tool you have to make that transformation and get you on the track to getting what you truly want in life and what you truly desire and what you prefer to experience instead of what you're just putting up with. So I know it's kind of like a long answer, but that's basically what I see. It all comes back to programming.
Dental problems don't get better the longer you wait. They just get worse and more expensive. The #1 dental plan in America today guarantees to save you 20 to 80% on all dental procedures you can get done in the dental office. Regular teeth cleanings all the way up to cosmetic dentistry. No waiting periods. Contact a benefit consultant immediately to find out what open enrollment specials are available in your state today. 888-674-9409.
And that is so, I mean, the information that you just shared is so valuable, because it sounds like besides you just having to be, willing to fail forward, because I've heard I know your story inside and out, and you built organizations and networks of hundreds of thousands of people. And I'll never forget what opened up a light for me that you said was that you said that people used to make tons of money, and you used to do it in less of a time period, double, half the time that other people would do it, and you would get double the results that they were getting. So if you could maybe just share a little bit, because it sounds like you're doing the old cliche that everyone knows, that work smarter and not work harder. Could you just maybe go in a little bit more in regards to that theory that you live by?
Right. That's a really good question. And I'll share this in a couple ways here. I mean, we can go on and on and on with this question here. I probably can do a one-day seminar just on this question. Here's what I want everyone to understand. First of all, I'm one of these type of people that early on in life I realized that I wasn't going to be able to work for someone for 40 years. I realized I kind of caught on that real quickly, because I looked at what these jobs wanted people to do, and I just knew I wasn't going to be able to do that. I mean, they wanted you to wake up at the crack of dawn. They wanted you to go and fight traffic to get to somewhere you really didn't want to be. They want you to work all week and stuff. 5 days a week. There's only 7 days in a week, and they want 5 of it. And then they want you to beg when you want to take time off, and they tell you when you're supposed to be hungry. I'm like, oh no, I'm not. I can't do this. So I kind of figured out early that I'm not going to be able to do that for that long. So I had to figure out what are some options here. There got to be something else that I can do that's going to allow me to be able to live the way I want to live. And the way I wanted to live is I wanted to be able to wake up with my eyes open. In other words, when I was done sleeping, and then I wanted to be able to figure out what I want to do during the day. And that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to have to do anything if I didn't want to, because I just didn't like working that much. So at an early age, I figured out, okay, I'm going to have to figure out something. Then at 19, when network marketing came to my reality, I attracted network marketing, and I noticed something. I noticed that this was a way to be able to create results and be able to do it relatively quickly. But here's the secret I want everyone to know. I have to work hard to do it, okay? So I did work hard, but I did it for a less period of time. In other words, I figure if I'm going to work hard, I'll work hard. I have no problem with that. But let me do it for 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. Let me do it for a shorter period of time than this 40-year thing that people were talking about. So it wasn't about being afraid of working hard. It was just doing it in a smaller period of time. This concept is called compressing time frames. So anything that I do, I wanted to compress the time frames. In other words, if it took the average person 10 years to do something, I want to figure out how I can do it in 2 years. If it took the average person 40 years to do something, I want to figure out how I can do it in 5 years. I want to be able to figure out how I can do something and do it a lot quicker, so that way I have more time to do other stuff. And so that was one of the biggest things. Now, in order to pull that off, I had to figure out what are the key leverage points that will allow a person to produce massive results. In other words, I noticed that not being able to do anything is I'm going to have some money somehow. So I figured out, okay, now that I attracted this network marketing to my reality, that was a way, it was a wealth-building, business that allowed me to use the concept of leverage. And once I kind of figured out what leverage was all about, and then I figured, how can I get the best out of this? How can I make sure I maximize this? I figure out what skills am I going to have to learn? What am I going to have to really master? Let me get focused on the skills that are going to be the high payoff skills. And I figured out the first high payoff skill, and I learned this from a Billionaire. This guy, well, actually, he was worth over $300 million. And I got a chance to spend a whole month with this guy. His name is Clarence. And it was amazing spending this time with him. I interviewed him. I really wanted to find out what did he know, because he was raised in the ghetto just like I was. And how did a guy, who was raised in the ghetto become worth $300 million? I mean, it was absolutely amazing. And what he told me was, he said, Jerry, here's what you want to do. He said, one of the keys that I learned early on is I learned how to use my imagination in an empowering way to create abundance. See, a lot of people don't know we all have the same tool, which is our mind and which is our consciousness and so forth, but a lot of people don't know how to use it. We have this concept called imagination, and a lot of people use it for their destruction instead of being able to produce results. He said, once I learned how to use it, once I learned what was going on, it was being used, but it wasn't being used in a way that was empowering. Once I learned how to use it in an empowering way, it really made all the difference with me being able to create and attract all the things that was required for me to produce what I wanted to produce. He said that was the first thing. He said the second skill that I really learned, Jerry, was the skill of sales and marketing. He said you got to learn how to do some selling, you got to learn how to do some marketing. You can't be afraid of those words. He said a lot of people are afraid of sales. He said those people are broke. He said you want to learn how to sell and you want to learn how to market. That's going to be key. And then he told me there's a difference between selling and marketing. He said the more you learn, the better you get at marketing, the less selling you have to do. And so that's I can do a whole seminar on that. and then he basically said what you want to do is you want to learn how to maximize your strategic opportunities. You want to learn how to optimize your personal performance, and you want to learn how to monetize your information investments. And what he meant was whenever you invest in information, books and audios and so forth, you want to learn how to monetize that information. A lot of people, they might buy a book or so if they're fortunate enough to do so, or an audio, but they don't learn how to really monetize that. And he said a lot of people go through life getting all kinds of opportunities, but they don't learn how to maximize those strategic opportunities. And then he said a lot of people just simply don't know how to optimize their own personal performance level. So if you learn those things, you're going to set yourself up. So I went out to get a little bit more information from him about how to do that and started doing those things. And that's what really made a big difference. It took me 7 years to become a millionaire. So it took longer than the 5 years that I wanted. But it took me 7 years to become a millionaire. But I'll tell you, I look back and I go, oh, my goodness, this is absolutely amazing. Now I know how I could have even sped that up. And that's what I do when I'm going around teaching people some of these concepts. So basically some of the same things I had learned from Clarence and other giants out there.
Man, that is absolutely amazing. And I've seen you've shared different workshops with greats like Jim Rohn. You've interviewed people like George Frazier, Ayana Venjan. And the thing that I really, really admire about you is that you were born in your mama's in your mama's garage. And you grew up in the ghetto. You was born in the ghetto. And one of the, you have this audio, it's a series that I absolutely love, and it hooked me on you. And I heard that after I heard almost everything else that you created. But you had this thing called Murphy's Committee. And I figured I asked you before I asked someone like Ruth Bradford, to talk about it, because she could go on and on. And we're going to bring her on a little bit. But I want to hear, if you could just share a little bit about this Murphy's Committee series that you have that millions of people love across the world. Just a little bit about this Murphy's Committee, and how did you, come to find that there was a Murphy's Committee with no real, right upbringing in regards to business.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's an interesting story about Murphy's Committee. For everyone who's listening right now, the interesting thing about Murphy's Committee is that it came out of, you know what they say, things come to you from inspiration or desperation, right?
Absolutely.
Murphy's Committee came to me from desperation. And what I mean by that is, as I got started in network marketing and started building my business, started developing a team, I started noticing some common trends. I started noticing that certain people would get started, start building their business and so forth, and then some people would get discouraged and they would quit. And I started wondering, man, why are people, they got these dreams, they're all excited about life again, they want to accomplish all these things, and they quit before they get their prize, right? And I was curious about that, and I started looking a little closer, and I started noticing there was common reasons why the people would quit. They would quit over the same type of things. There was only like a half a dozen things that would actually cause someone to leave the industry. And so I looked and I examined closely what those things were. And I noticed, man, these were the same things that happened to me. Somehow I kept moving forward. And then I looked at other people who had, really created some results. And I looked at them and I noticed, oh, my goodness, it's the same thing that happened to them too. But they kept moving forward, obviously. And so I noticed that the things that allow people to stop are the same things that occur